What's up, family? Welcome back to another legendary reaction video. So we got an interesting video here. Basically, we talk about Tim Walz and his sketchy military record. With no further ado, family, as usual, I like to break it down, give you guys my insight, perspective, and thoughts, and also like to see you guys' perspective and thought down in the comments. So with no further ado, let's get straight into the video. We're going to skip over.
His tell it like governor. In a way, he's back again to wage a public war of words against Tim Walz.
He abandoned us, I mean, what the hell kind of leader does that? I mean, he just, as soon as the shots were fired in Iraq, he turned and ran the other way and hung his hat up and quit.
We'll get to.
And I felt like me being a black individual, being raised in a black family, it's not really a race thing. And I don't believe it's a race war. It's actually a class war. But what I'm trying to get to, family, is usually when it comes to value from a business perspective, and I'm looking at my notes because I did give some insight. I mean, I did do some research, my due diligence before I put my commentary on this. So from a business perspective, when it comes to value, to leveling up and being successful, competition wise, for example, acquiring a job, and setting yourself apart to be more or be the better pick, so to say, or the better choice from a competition standpoint, and receive the offer, right, to get the job. That's the whole ultimate goal. But the first thing that is highly sought out for is veterans. We respect in turn for their service. Shout out to all the veterans. But it's a simple fact, though, family, that it's not only just veterans that, from a career perspective, when it comes to applying for jobs, that definitely gives you amazing credibility, but also the military and also your success in the military, because that gives you a phenomenal credibility. But also, where I'm trying to get to with this, it's not just the military, but it's also your line of work, the work that you put in, or sort of say experience, which in turn creates a resume, right? And the first way is highly sought out veterans basically get fairly compensated for their service, benefits, free Medicare, um, you know, free health care, and aligned or correlated with Medicare. All those things that they earned, ranking up, doing their service, putting their life on the line. It's just like a police officer. They know what they sign up for. They sign up for it. At the end of the day, nobody cares about you you crying, whip, or you whining or complaining, because at the end of the day, you know what you sign up for. But very rarely do you hear individuals back out or run when it's time to get deployed. You get what I'm saying? So it's just interesting to hear the story, let alone also more shocking, so to say, how a public servant that's supposed to be for the people of America is basically giving fraudulent how can I put this? Put it on a fraudulent front. Basically trying to oppose as something or impose himself as something he's not. But let's get into it.
New message for voters in a moment. But this all starts years earlier when Barron says Walz's misleading statements about his military service first led him to come forward in the fall of 2018.
So you try to get this message out, but Minnesota's largest newspaper checks it out, says it's 100% true, but yet refuses to print.
When I hung the phone up, I said, what the hell is this, North Korea?
Back in 2005, a warning order went out to the 1st Battalion, 125th Field Artillery to mobilize for a mission to Iraq. At the time, Walz served as the unit's highest non-commissioned officer, but months later, Walz would retire from the Guard, avoid the deployment, and run for Congress. Tom Behrens was next in line for the position and was asked to take his place.
I was like, well, for Pete's sake, if this guy quit, and if I say I'm not going to do it, I mean, what the hell kind of leadership is that? If a company would say that we're going to deploy to Iraq or somewhere and you're going to be gone for whatever amount of time, and then the foreman just says, no, I'm not going. I mean, what does that say to the 500 people that work in that factory?
That is
Behrens
true.
would go on to serve in Iraq on a nearly 2-year deployment as a command sergeant major. All while Walz
So it's very shocking because how can you say you did something you never did? How can you say you were in the military but you really weren't? Because when it was time to stand on the line and put your life on the line, what you signed up for on the front lines, you didn't do it. So how can you claim something you haven't done? Is that delusion at this point, family?
and using that title as a congressman. Behrens says he first contacted Walz with his concerns, sending these letters to Washington. They all went unanswered.
But then we fast forward to the election in 2018 in Minnesota, and you try at that time to get people's attention with this story and also with what seems to be a very misleading statement that he continued to make about his service.
It kind of just sat there. When he was a congressman, he bragged that he was a command sergeant, retired command sergeant major. I'm the highest ranking person ever in the House, and all.
It also is disrespect to the veterans and the individuals like Tom. All due respect to him, for doing an amazing job in regards of doing his job and actually doing it as a leader. And this is a true leader, putting American first, actually doing what he signed up for and prioritized what he signed up for and knew the requirements and actually stood on business in regards of actually putting his life on the line and fighting and actually going out and executing when it was time to get deployed instead of backing out. Unlike Tim Walz. But the thing is, the very good thing about, being a veteran and, some people go, or young men like myself who was thinking about going, they go because they don't know what career choice they want to go into. They were lost. They're trying to find a way. And a lot of men say it's a phenomenal way to let alone find yourself alongside the discipline that is incorporated in the service or in the military, so to say, in this specific particular situation. And they find themselves, but also they have the free education. They have the benefit package that come with it. You got the GI Bill. They can get a house, with the unlimited amount of loans they can receive at a certain point in time that's beneficial. Um, and just all those beautiful things that come with the package for what you signed up for to prosper, right? In turn for your service. And it's disrespectful because the individuals that actually fought as a veteran, put their life on the line, may have a traumatic experience, may have gone through something that's life changing. For you to claim something that you haven't done, unlike the others, that says a lot in regards to what individuals are given or what individuals are doing when they walk up to you and say thank you for your service, because that's the thing that we all say, because they put their life on the line in turn for individuals like and Americans out there who are just living their typical American life of freedom that they put on their backs for those who actually did and executed and fought for this country. So it's just shocking to say. It's like, and Black culture loves this. In regards of, it's like an individual saying they're a janitor, but in other terms they can say, "Oh, they're an environmental service worker." Like just to say something fancy to sort of spice it up, or someone who has a resume and they spice it up that seems to be more appeasing to a job, so they received a job, but really they don't have the credentials, let alone credibility, to do that job, but they lie on that resume to make it look good so they get the job, right? That's basically what Tim Walz seems like he's doing, or he is doing, and a lot of individuals in Black culture love that. Not to get off topic, but it's the simple fact that essentially my man is a lie, and it can take it even a deep further for individuals to be curious. Is the military, when people do sign up for the service, doing their part to ensure this happen, or how often does this happen? Because it's highly disrespectful, no doubt about it. And I give respect to Tom, um, this man who was in the service, a veteran, for putting this man on the line, man. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. My man just basically jazzed up the resume to leverage opportunity to then level up and use the term military as a coin term for something he didn't do to basically become more successful and be in positions from a political standpoint that he didn't quite deserve, just like he didn't actually and execute and actually be in the military as he makes it out to be. So it's very mind boggling. Um, and at the end of the day, Tim Walz being a governor and also being a politician, as American people, we look for very important things like that individual that's running for being a political leader in any way, shape, or form, president, whatever the case may be, is to put America first, and actually resemble the American dream in regards of being married, having kids, being able to have a home, be able to, you know, being able to be a home buyer, being able to own something. That's the American dream, right? Typically, which is far out of reach now. We're basically in a recession, if you ask me. But basically, how can we trust this man to lead if he basically jazzed up his resume and made it look fancy to say he had the credentials that he didn't even have to really acquire the job? So him leading the country, I can tell you right now, that is a no-go for me. Because at the end of the day, you don't lie for something so highly respectful and so highly sought after like that. As far as being a veteran and serving in the military, for individuals who actually put their life on the line and possibly died or had some life changing experience to the point where they can't operate or function the same way they did when they went in. Obviously, they're older, but to the point where they may have disabilities. It's just, it's like you impersonating a doctor and taking away and basically disrespecting the credentials for individuals who actually worked hard to be a doctor. And as American people, we look for individuals that actually, stood up, had their head held high, didn't take handouts, and actually worked hard, which was part of the American dream, and actually utilized all the resources possible, connecting with the people that they are being a public servant for, whether that's a governor, mayor, president, because they can resonate with the people in regards of the hard work they put in, coming from the bottom and coming and growing to the top, to then be in a position to make impactful choices that only not impacts the country, but lo and behold, the American people.
This lie that he was telling. The state of Minnesota came out after 2018, after this was exposed, and they said, well, he can say that he served as a command sergeant major, but he can't say he's a retired one because he's not.
And that's what he was saying.
And he was saying that, and there was lots of lots of cards coming in the mail, for him to be elected. They said right on there he's a retired command sergeant major, just tooting his own horn, just hanging on the coattails of people that actually are command sergeant majors that went through all the process.
So my man is basically saying he ranked up but never really ranked up, let alone, it's just crazy, man.
Put all the time in.
A spokesperson for the Minnesota National Guard said Walz wasn't able to retire as a command sergeant major since he failed to complete coursework and requirements related to the.
So if you didn't complete the coursework, then that means if you didn't finish the course, then you don't receive the credit. Anybody knows that. That's just common sense. If you go to college and you don't finish the course, how can you get the credit, let alone the credentials, let alone the credit to add to the value alongside the other credentials that you have earned to then get that degree in turn? Come on, man.
Verified documents show the Army corrected his service record. Walz was reduced in rank to an E8 Master Sergeant after retirement and his conditional promotion. Alpha News again asked Governor Walz if he's using the Command Sergeant Major rank on his campaign website for.
And I feel like he should actually be held accountable, and there should be some type of consequences. It's highly disrespectful. They shouldn't even let him get this far saying things like that.
political gain this year. A spokesperson said this has been in the news before and pointed us to a past story where Walz said, quote, "Normally this type of partisan political attack only comes from one who's never worn a uniform."
It's stolen valor is really what it is. I don't know of anybody else that's done what he's done, but we called it the truth about Tim Walz.
In 2018, Barron's gave the story the full court press.
We, retired command sergeant majors of the Minnesota National Guard, feel it is our duty and responsibility to bring forth the truth as we know it concerning his service record. I put together information on it and I sent it out to every single radio station and newspaper and TV station I could in the state. The bottom line in all of this is gut-wrenching and sad to explain. When the nation called, he quit.
Twin Cities TV stations and the Star Tribune were silent, even after Barron says the newspaper checked it all out. The Star Tribune endorsed Walz in 2018 for governor.
I don't know how quickly.
Between lockdowns, riots, unchecked crime, and a charred police precinct, Barron's felt he had no choice but again to come forward.
Allowing that to be burned down was just like having the Alamo get burned down. It's like, no, you defend that to the last man. You know, if he would have went to Iraq, he'd still be hiding under his desk over there. Because that's,
Oh, man. He telling it. Sheesh.
you know, just the cowardice that I seen portrayed with him.
So how about
Cowardice.
when he also comes out and he calls you guys 19-year-old cooks?
I'd take any 19-year-old cook before I'd go to war with him. I don't know how he could even utter such a statement. I mean, it's just absolutely sad.
So this election year, it's all built up again to Barron's new grain bin message.
He called Jacob Fry an abject failure. So I was like, you know, that's what he is.
My man deflecting on. So my man Watch is deflecting on.
Fry an abject failure. So I was like,
Grain bin message.
he called Jacob Fry an abject failure.
So Jacob, so Watch is basically reflecting on Jacob, who he really is. And it's crazy because at the end of the day, how can we expect this man to be vice president or take on a higher leadership role than what he's already taken on if my man can lie like this? Can we really put trust in the leading this nation and going to different countries and negotiating for the best interests of the American people? No. They're lying and playing in your face about being in the military. So if he don't have respect for the military, will he have our best interests as the American people and have respect for us? I don't think so.
So I was like, you know, that's what he is.
Walz is a traitor, also made a return.
And the last one I put together, he said it himself too, as well, if they don't like my job, they can vote me out. So I wrote, vote him out. We need to vote him out.
Well, man, it's it speaks volumes, and at the end of the day, a fake veteran treating a actual real veteran, a real leader like that, it tells you how he'll just treat the regular American person who works a regular everyday job, right? But I think I gave enough of insight and perspective and, you know, the best insight that I could give in regards on how I'm taking the situation and breaking it down and assessing the matter. I want to get you guys' perspective down in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I poured some type of value into you guys' lives. Let the love supersede the hate. Spread the peace, love, and positivity. And I know family. Peace.